Hello everyone, this is day 2 of the social experiment. I'm going to head out the door of my studio apartment, so bear with me. This is about documenting what happens when I walk out the door. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it neutral? We're going to find out. Hi, ladies. So on my floor, it's kind of a unique situation because I actually have a good amount of support for what I'm doing with the Beautification project. And as I go about this, I'm trying to decide really what the bigger goal is I have a Facebook page called Fully Alive Awareness Campaign, and I want that to become a foundation. If you read it about the information in the About Me section, it'll help you understand more about how it all got started. Really, who is it for? Who's it going to be helping? It really was the beginning of me rising up out of the ashes. Okay, so I stop and I pause here because I'm at the main corridor. This is where the drama usually starts. Let's go. I'm gonna go to my mailbox and then head out the door.
When it's cold outside, just go walk out and
The first floor was actually really packed. I'd say there was about 20 people there. And the mail lady is here. When the mail lady is here, she kind of shuts the door and we all wait for our mail, but I don't really have time to wait for my mail. I might swing back. I'm gonna go to Dunkin' Donuts, spend my last couple of dollars before payday on a coffee because I actually ran out of creamer and I just don't have time. So if you're watching this, I just appreciate your eyes and your ears, whether you leave a comment or not. This is a vlog, basically. I'm living on purpose, living out loud, processing real life events because I am recovering from post-traumatic stress disorder, diagnosed in 2012. That was an unfortunate situation, and when I see things like that, I just stop and I pray and I just say, Lord Jesus, protect that baby, because I was triggered. It was clearly a baby getting put in a car seat. The mom and dad are fighting, and it just seems ridiculous. Part of my trauma is about standing up for the children. I did the best that I could, and I lost at the end of the day. It's not a total loss, and I'll talk more about those details as I go on with life. Today is Monday, my Me Mondays, where I go to a place called the Healing Canvas. And I process these traumatic things, these triggers, these things that are out of my control. I went back to work for the first time after being put on the disability, also in 2012. I went back to work for the first time last year, 2016, successfully. I mean, I started working only 1 day a week, and then it went to 3 days a week, and then it ended up 7 days a week because we didn't have enough workers. We had like one worker quit, and another worker went to the hospital because they had hip surgery, so he was out for a really long time. So I basically covered the shifts, and that's how I ended the last month that I worked there. And then we all got laid off the first week of January this year, 2017. And that's kind of another part of what ended up happening, was I knew that that was going to be coming. I did put in my application at certain places, but at the same time I kind of took advantage of the break, because also my EMDR PTSD therapist was out for 3 months because she had back surgery. So I just kind of, you know, like, I took advantage of the time off, and I took a break from everything. And it was winter, so I just hung around in my apartment and really tried to figure out what was the next direction, next chapter of my life. And then I ended up, I think 6 months ago, I want to say it was May, that I actually got hired as a food demonstrator at Costco. I call it promotional artist. And then I've just been going from there, and other opportunities keep rising, and now I'm doing brand ambassador jobs, and I've done a few where you're basically you're just promoting and selling somebody else's product, which is the same thing that I do at Costco. But I like the idea of being in an event environment where it's outdoors usually. That's kind of my shtick. So anyway, I say all that to say is I try to find balance in everything. That's really what this is about. When you get diagnosed with a mental illness such as post-traumatic stress disorder, you know, balance is the #1 key to wellness. And what I do is I really try to break the stereotypes. And I feel that I am pioneering certain things. Okay, just the fact that I'm rising up as quickly as I am, going back to work, and I say I'm 75% better. My therapist says it's probably even more than that. It's pretty amazing. We do have a plan of action to be released from this intensive therapy program come 2019. I've already completed, first of all, it took me a year to qualify for the program because I was disassociated from the traumas. That's how I've been able to push along so well. And I don't experience, you know, nightmares and stuff like most people. Do I have that? Yes, I do. But anyway, it's just very different for me and a lot of people. So disassociating and just moving on with life and ignoring really the experiences is a big part of post-traumatic stress disorder. So is, you know, like being too busy or self-medicating. I spent most of my whole entire life kind of in that realm. But this time around, I've been mostly sober, you know, mostly purposefully trying not to you know, every time I feel an anxiety moment, oh, go get a drink, you know. I mean, I've been really learning how to ride the waves, learn how to ride the emotional waves. So what I'm saying is, like, my Me Mondays, it's been full of these intensive therapy programs where I go to at the Healing Canvas. And I did spend 6 months. I want to say it was 2015. I qualified for the program in 2014. By 2015, January, I finally got involved in the program, and I spent 6 months in an intensive group therapy. And it was, you know, the same few people all the time. So it wasn't people just coming and going and coming and going. While I was doing that, I was also doing one-on-one therapy, EMDR. You can look more about that, what EMDR is. There is a YouTube video out there, and how I find it is EMDR PTSD therapy, I think. And it's about a young man who was a military man, but he was just only in his 20s. And he realized that he had suffered from PTSD because he'd been out of the military, but he witnessed a car accident. I mean, it was like really bad, and you know, he was there as a medic, as a military medic, but a civilian, taking care of one of the ladies who got injured, and her head was in his lap, you know, I mean, the whole thing, and then it didn't work out for her, okay? So it was very traumatic. And then he realized, oh, he had all these other issues, like when he was younger, he was in a burning building with his family, or his dad, you know, had him over a bridge, dangling, like, I mean, there was some violence in his past as a young child. So, and it shows that therapy is extremely quick. I call it something similar to chemo for cancer patients. It's not, you're not putting something into your body, so it's not a poison, but the EMDR pushes out the poison. So it pushes out the trauma from one part of your brain to the other, and it literally pushes it out. So it takes you from a 10 to a 2 or a 1 or a 0, your intensity. And sometimes it affects people wherever their stress usually is in their body. So like for me, my gastrointestinal area is where my stress goes in my body, and so I would end up going to the bathroom a lot afterwards. Like I couldn't control it, and I'm doing much better now, but there's some people who it stirs up their anxiety so bad that they throw up. So it really is intense, but it really that fast. It takes you from the extreme trigger 10 down to a 2 to a 1 to a 0, and you work over it over and over and over again. So anyway, I'm just as I do these vlogs, I am doing my best to be a little bit more specific about what I'm really doing in my life and about this channel, to show you that I really am on a fast track to healing. So on Me Mondays, I basically spend, I want to say about 5, 6, even sometimes 7 hours, it just depends. I do art therapy, I do a group therapy, I do an anger management therapy, and then my one-on-one. And so it is intense. And, you know, being emotional and usually not wearing makeup is part of the process, because you want to be able to freely cry and not hold back any of your emotions. And so I just said all that to say, when I walk out of my house every day, it's out of my control what I'm going to be running into. And we have children living in our building now for the first time this year, and that's part of the healing process and a trigger for me. And I'm not against it, I'm for it. So I'll be in touch later. I gotta go. Love you all. Thank you. Bye.